here is the pumpkin chocolate chip bread. It is amazing. You will love it. Good morning and welcome to our fall baking series. And I have old Granny in the background today. She's just loving me making things, and I'm making pumpkin dog treats next. So she's super excited. Today we're going to make chocolate chip pumpkin bread. So this is a favorite, and it's actually a recipe from a very old dear friend that lives a couple of towns over. And it does require quite a few ingredients, so it's just a little putsy, but it's a fantastic bread, and you're gonna love it. So you can do this two different ways. You can do, it's one big loaf pan if you want a big loaf, or you can use 3 of the mini pans for this recipe. So I'll post both directions depending on if you want the small loaves or the big loaves. I'm going to give this one away to a family friend that's moving this weekend, and so I'm going to make one big one for them to enjoy while they're moving in. Okay, so the very first thing we need is flour, and like I said, this one's kind of steppy, so I will get the directions posted. So we need 1 3/4 cup of flour in a different dish, and I'm just at the end, so that was 1. I might have to go get the flour. Okay, that's 1 1/2. I'll go get the other flour and get that. Just 1 second. Go through a lot of flour in this kitchen. So, just 1/4 of a cup. Oh, making a mess. Okay, so we're gonna do this in a separate bowl. So I need 1/4 cup. Half of that one. All right, we'll get that put away later. Make sure you're grabbing your coffee when you're doing these fall baking videos. They're just amazing. I should say my coffee is amazing. I switched to half and half coffee, so I don't get the jitters if I drink too much of it. So you need 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And I highly recommend that. The Folgers half calf. It really cuts down on your caffeine if you like coffee like me. Okay, then 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. So I'm back to cooking. I dropped my youngest daughter off at college, and I needed a couple of days to decompress. It was traumatic for me, not for her. For me, it was traumatic. And so I haven't really put together too many YouTube videos in the last 3 or 4 days, and I can really tell on my stats that YouTube is a full-time job. Okay, so now I have pumpkin pie spice, and so I'm gonna do 1.5 teaspoons of that. I'm gonna have to add that to my list because I use a lot of pumpkin pie spice for the next month. And then 1/2 teaspoon of ginger. Okay, so this is kind of a putsy recipe, and I'm not usually I'm kind of a no-fuss baker, but this one is pretty good. Okay, so then whisk that together. All right, now we're gonna do the cold ingredients. So we'll leave that over there. 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, and I know I have a lot of people that do not like vegetable oil, so I apologize, but this recipe just needs 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. It gets it that nice spongy feel. Okay, we need 1 cup of pumpkin. So I always get, where's my can opener? I always get like a little frustrated because a lot of my recipes only need 1 cup of pumpkin, and there's always more than 1 cup in here. So if I don't want to double the recipe, I'm going to use the other half to make dog treats for old Granny and Sam Dog this afternoon. So we need 1 cup of pumpkin. I kind of home make my dog treats because they don't need the extra gross calories of the ones from the store. Okay, so 1 cup of pumpkin. All right, okay, we got that. 1/2 cup of sugar. I'm running out of space today. This actually doesn't use a ton of sugar. Like my banana bread uses like a cup of sugar. And a 4th cup of brown sugar. I gotta go grab my 4th cup. I'm looking forward to my breakfast. I have a brand new yogurt that I absolutely love. Have you ever tried the Chobani key lime? It's absolutely my favorite. It looks like this. The best yogurt I've ever had. Okay, 2 eggs. Now I've cracked my eggs in a separate bowl, just so that once in a great while you'll get a bad egg, but not very often. Okay, so 2 eggs. 2 tablespoons of milk. Whatever milk you have. 2% whole, skim. I've got 2% here. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Like I said, this is stuffy, but I can already smell it. Smells good. Okay, we're gonna mix this up. This. Let's see if I can get the brown sugar. So we're gonna have a lot of pumpkin coming up here. I'm waiting for squash season. I have a love for squash. It's not quite ready locally yet. All right, so now we're gonna add the dry ingredients to the wet. Don't you just love my new bowl I got? It's a Pyrex bowl. Their new vintage line. Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm not really into like a lot of old things, but I love the way the bowl looks. Okay, so now, when we get this all mixed up, you can add white chocolate chips or regular chocolate chips. So I kind of, like, I'm a no-fuss baker, so I prefer the regular chocolate chips in this one. But I had a half a bag of white chocolate chips. And I thought that would pair really good with the pumpkin. So I'm going to add that. Okay, so I'm gonna add half a cup. That's about what I had of white chocolate chips. Mix that up. It almost looks like Halloween-y. If that's the word, Halloween. Oh, yesterday I took my oldest daughter out for lunch and we went to Home Goods and they have all of their Halloween stuff out. Like, I just can't do Halloween yet. It's like August, the end of August, and it's like still 100 degrees here. Okay, loaf pan, greased and sprayed, so you can get it out when it's done. We're gonna pour it in here. Make sure we got it all. All right, and we are going to bake this in the oven at 350 degrees for 60 to 70 minutes until it's done in the middle. If you're using 3 mini pans instead of the large loaf pan, you want to go 35 to 40 minutes, so not quite as long. And I'm gonna put this in the oven and I'm gonna show you when it comes out of the oven exactly what it looks like. I wish I could have you smell through the camera because you're gonna love this bread. And I will post it, get it on the internet today.